And we're live.
Wait, no, it's connecting to YouTube. Hold on.
No, we're connecting to YouTube. I don't know.
Starting live.
Is it live? Is it?
Yeah, we're live.
Live.
We're live. Oh, no, you were live way earlier.
Right, that's what I figured. Like, sometimes it does that. F it, we'll do it live. You ever seen that?
No.
All right. What's up, guys? Mike the Cop, and walk into the room with... No! I wouldn't have put it past you to actually put water on me.
Dude, that would have been so hilarious.
I wouldn't have been that upset, I guess, because my phone was out of... I would have been able to hold it away and not ruin my...
What's up?
Although this is supposed to be waterproof.
Hi.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Mike the Cop, as you should know if you're watching my live stream.
Matt Guyver, I'm not alone anymore.
Who said that? Who said that?
Mac.
Oh, hey, Mac. This is my buddy James. I call him Jim. I don't know if you just let me call you Jim because I always did, and then I don't. Did you go through?
I didn't even know that your real name was James.
Did you
That's
go
odd.
through some type of like midlife thing where you decided to be called James?
No, what happened was when I started doing contracting and I had to separate my idiotic Jim persona.
Oh, you were
with
a complete
the
dumbass in your, in your past life, Jim.
Professional James is
PhD.
yeah, it's legit.
I'm James, PhD.
Yeah, it makes me it gives me some clout.
You have to go to school for that. I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that off then.
I mean,
did you have 1,000 business cards printed up with PhD?
No.
And then people are like, you can't. I didn't know you went to doctorates and got your, whatever they call that stuff. Clearly, I didn't do that. And then you're like, oh wait, I thought that just meant like you were serious about what you were doing. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up about that. That's a rabbit trail we don't want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hanging out here. The underpaid producer's office is here in.
Everybody's complaining about the audio.
the audio.
Yeah, they're saying it's too quiet.
Well, turn it up then.
Turn it up as
This
Idiot.
live stuff.
Turn it up, idiot.
How about now?
It's
Is it
the
better?
underpaid producer. Again, everybody wonders why I underpay him, and every time he does a video for me, especially if it involves live stuff, he ruins it. So I can't pay him what he's worth. Well, I am paying him what it's worth. It's just underpaid for the industry.
Dude, if I turn up this audio anymore, we are going to be peaking.
Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you.
He charges me a shit ton of money. How much are you paying him?
Dude, like $5 a day.
Oh my god.
I saw him at Home Depot one time looking for video work. I hired him.
We're gonna have to talk about this, Elijah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
are people still complaining about the audio?
it's gotta be.
Dude, people are saying it's good, and other people are like, it's so I have my headphones on and my phone's at 100. The UPP's an idiot.
The UPP is an idiot. I love it.
Mike's closer, maybe. Dude,
It's right here.
You down with UPP?
audio was fine for me. Now it's fuzzy.
Well, if we bring the shotgun, now it's fuzzy. What?
Is it-
Screw all you people.
How about now?
Unless you're super chatting, then thank you.
Here, I got this.
Well, we can't. The shotgun.
Bueno. Bueno. ¿Cómo está? Can you hear this? Hello?
They should be able to hear that.
How about that? Is
So
that better?
RIP headphone users, maybe. I don't know. All right, so anyway, guys,
Anyway.
NYPD, I'm a little late because this happened, like 2 days ago now, maybe, where the video, I don't know when the actual incident happened, but the video at least got popular a couple days ago of a couple of NYPD cops. They were making an arrest in Harlem, and apparently some people didn't like it.
Got
So.
you loud and clear. My ears have cancer.
So some other turd, 28-year-old dude that has now since been arrested and charged with assault, was dumping buckets of water onto these cops. And so I know what that made me feel like as a cop, and I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about two aspects of this, and I don't have very long. We're probably going to be only live for like 10 or 15 more minutes, maybe, tops, because I have other things I got to do. But I'm going to talk about the legal and ethical aspects of this and answer any, really particular questions that you guys might have. But I wanted to get your take. So this is James. He has a YouTube channel called I Am James the Thinking Contractor. I have tagged him in a few videos on YouTube. I would encourage you to go like his channel and he's the thinking contractor. He's not the dumbass contractor. He actually has a brain that he likes to exercise when it comes to cultural topics. So what's your take on this? What's your take as the average Joe PhD?
So the first time I watched, like when it was kind of like what we were talking about earlier, we
I need to get you some coffee mugs too, because this is
dude, they're awesome.
Why do you have
old
woman coffee mugs? Do you cover your work furniture with plastic too? So that people sit on it like that,
these
like
mugs
your
are
grandma's
expensive.
house?
They're like, dude, this is the same mug you slapped out of my hand during the Black Rifle Coffee commercial.
Sturdy.
Yeah, nothing happened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hardcore. Anyway, so my my take on it was this: is that first of all, I'm not a first responder. I don't know a whole lot about the legality of things of that nature, but I was humiliated for the officer. That was number one. Number two, and we touched on this a little bit when we streamed live on my page, is that as a citizen and as an American, I felt like it was an attack on our culture, and for me, it's the same reason why we stop at a blinking red light in the middle of the country when nobody's around.
I don't do that.
Well, yeah, that says a lot of.
Zip on through.
Well, you're an asshole cop. I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is, honestly, we want order. We want order in our country because it brings peace. It brings civility. And it's the same reason why you stop at a blinking red light. Watching that with no care in the world was just people saying, I don't give a shit about this country. I don't care about law, order. I don't care about respect, dignity. I felt bad for the officers because it just was humiliating. And I put myself in their shoes and thought, what would I have done? I mean,
you would kick him in the vagina.
In the vagina.
That's what he said off camera. I would have kicked that guy in the vagina.
In his vagina. Straight up.
His front butt. I'd have shoved my boot up his front butt.
His man clam. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Elijah, is anybody watching this right now?
Yes, a lot of people are. And they're like, well, there's humming in the audio. And I'm like, that's because you made me crank the audio all the way up.
Oh,
whatever.
They're all on crack. So.
Sorry, viewers. If you're watching this back, if there's audio problems or whatever, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's the underpaid producer's fault. You guys are used to this. You're used to his performance.
356 people on.
Anyway.
So,
yeah, I agree. I think most people probably feel like you. I think most people were like definitely secondhand embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, or felt like, how could anybody do that to somebody?
Seriously?
Just close my laptop up.
It's gonna keep going.
Oh, there's my Apple Watch. It's telling me who's calling. Just close the laptop!
I declined it!
Don't decline it, close it so it doesn't make any sound anymore.
It's one of Mike's people wanting them to roast them during the day.
Yes. So I think a lot of people probably felt like you when it came to this thing. Now, I'm watching it from a cop perspective, and wow, I mean, like, that was like magnified for me. Instantly, well, first I told you earlier, I was thinking when I first saw this video, I'm like, wait a second, what was going on before? You know, were the cops messing around with kids having like a water balloon fight or water hoses, or you know, was this like something happening in the community and this is a good thing that I'm seeing? And then quickly, obviously, people are taunting the guys on camera, and I'm like, oh, this is a very negative situation. And my first instinct was, if this happened to me, these guys would be arrested. That guy would have been like, hey, all right, sir, you made your bed, now you're going to lie in it. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. We're going down that path. So there's a legal aspect, and then there's like this ethical aspect. The legal aspect is that was assault. So by New York law, by Michigan law, I would hazard to guess that in every state in the union, throwing a substance onto another human qualifies as some violation of a law. Even if it was like disorderly conduct on some part. There was a memo put out from the New York police, from the higher ups of the NYPD out to the rank and file, like, hey, listen, what you saw happen was a violation of this law, and this law. Here is like what you could charge someone with in that instance. Some of that would have been city ordinance, not necessarily state law. But under state law, for sure, in New York and in Michigan and everywhere else, if you throw an object or a substance onto someone against their will, that is a violation of the law. So there is like this legal aspect of it, and people are like, well, cops can't do anything. It was just water. Well, the cop wouldn't. I mean, maybe he did know that it was just water, but who knows what's in there? Freaking like piss, bleach. Who knows? You know what?
Well, the guy was arrested too. That he did it, right?
Yeah, ultimately he has been arrested. They identified who he was and they arrested him after the fact. And so definitely a legal issue. Does anybody have any questions about the legal aspect of that? I don't know, Elijah, is anybody asking questions at all?
Making fun of me.
They're all making fun of you still? Good. At least you're enjoying yourselves.
There have been a few super chats. Peanut City with $25 said, disrespect to the police is disrespect to our nation, plain and simple.
Hey, thank you, Peanut City.
Matthew Murphy with $5.
Matthew Murphy, thank you.
Chunky Beef with 99 cents.
Chunky Beef, thank you.
Paul Jones with $2.
Who?
And Paul Jones.
Paul Jones, thank you very much.
Suds, yo. $1.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. No questions specifically from them.
Wait, they're giving you money right now?
Yeah. How do you think I pay them?
People are just saying next time it could be acid.
Right, yeah, no, that's the point. Like, and that's why it's against the law. I mean, the law can't be like, hey, you can throw water on everybody, but just not anything water plus anything. Like, you don't make that distinction. And
well, no, kind of. We were talking about this. It's like someone coming up to you and going like that. The assault part of that.
Right, making you just so that you guys know. So like it's assault and battery are often together, but they're two different things, really, legally. Assault is making someone reasonably believe that a battery is imminent. That's the legal terminology in the Michigan law books. It's going to be something similar everywhere. But like if someone pulls up a bat and is in a swing position and they're within arm's distance of you, that's an assault. Because I'm giving Jim this reasonable belief that he's about to be battered, right? So literally with a bat. But assault and battery. So like if I rear back my fist, we're arguing, as soon as my fist comes back, what does that say? I'm about to get punched in the face.
Yep.
That's an assault. The battery happens when my fists connect with your face.
You're also about to get nunchucked.
No, and then I bury you and no one knows about it because I'm a cop and I know people.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the legal aspect of it. So it was against the law. But what's more bothersome is the ethical underpinnings of this. That there's a certain mindset. You watch Stranger Things. Have you ever seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
So season 2, there's this spoiler alert. But we're already past season 3, so this is on you if you don't know this. But basically, there's this vine.
Isn't it about black tar heroin?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's like an inference or something, like some philosophical approach.
I'm always
to
looking for
Stranger
the deeper side of
the deeper meaning of
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's all about black tar heroin.
I think it's about Bernie Sanders socialism. That's what I think it's about.
That is a plague on society.
It's coming, yep.
So anyway, he's digging this network, right? The force, the evil force is digging this network. So it's not like only in one place. So it's not like you can just go, oh, it's New York City's the problem, or oh, just this place is the problem,
right,
or just this one group of people. It's more complex than that. It's more networked than that organically in terms of like it's a mindset. And so I think there's this underlying mindset that is creeping through our culture like a poisonous vine that undermines the very idea of civility and respect, a mutual respect, just because someone's a human, right? Like it doesn't matter what their political affiliation is, right? I don't care. You can be far left, you can be middle of the road, you can be whatever you're going to be. You can be, gayer than Liberace and Elton John walking a goose in a park. I don't know. Is that really? That sounds gay, right?
Yeah. No. I don't know.
Anyway, you could be.
That's a weird question.
I don't know. Whatever. You can be a guy that thinks you're a frog, a female frog.
Right.
You can be all any of that stuff. I believe, this is me, and I think you would agree with me here, but correct me if I'm wrong about your beliefs. I think that just by virtue of existing as a human, as a person, I should show you respect and dignity by default. That should be my default mode to you. Now you want to come at me and try to like teabag me with your Elton John-ness, we're going to have a problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But all things being equal, we should have a mutual respect for one another, even amidst our differences, simply because we're people.
Human decency. Yeah.
That's my belief, right? So there's this underpinning in culture, I think, that is pushing against the idea of civility and respect and common sense, even with people we disagree with. And we don't have like a physical fascism going on in this country, but we have a mental one, an emotional one, a societal one, and that is we want to control people's thoughts and words. And if we disagree with them, they're evil and we're right. And if they have offended my mindset, then I have the right to physically attack them because they have victimized me, so I can attack them. And so this is a poisonous thought. And this situation with the buckets of water on cops that seems so simple on the surface, I think really is representative of where that kind of leads you to where it's like this thunderdome of intellectualism. Like it's all gone. There's no common sense. There's no compassion. There's no thoughtfulness behind it. And it really is a scary thing that we see that getting manifested. And I really hope that videos like this or people talking about this can push some of that back a little bit and remind people to treat each other with some respect.
I have a question. What is the motto for the police departments now? Is it to serve and protect, or is it to uphold the law? I heard it changed.
It's okay. That's an interesting question. See, this is why I have you here.
Yeah.
PhD, you earned it.
Whatever.
So to protect and serve is the motto of the LAPD.
Right.
So they put that on their emblem, on their cars, all that stuff, to protect and serve. That was nothing more than a motto for one department. And it's sort of like, there's some iconic departments, LAPD, NYPD, Boston. Like, these guys have been around a long time, and they're very iconic, culturally speaking, broadly and in the law enforcement community.
Right.
So very influential. So then a lot of police departments have adopted the concept or the motto to serve and protect, or to protect and serve. That's not a legal term. That's a motto.
Right.
Right. The job of police officers, law enforcement officer. My job is to enforce the law.
Uphold the law.
Honestly, like I think it's great when officers are kind to people in their community. That's the mutual respect I'm talking about. Be kind, be professional. Handle yourself accordingly with that. But their job isn't to feed the homeless. Their job isn't to make kids laugh. Their job isn't to do any of that stuff. The motto of serve and protect is a motto. And if a police department has that as its culture, awesome. Like, if your mindset is, I want to protect these people and I want to serve them, that's great. It's not the law.
Yeah.
Right? My job, the best community policing officer is the one that consistently and fairly, with wisdom and common sense, applies themselves to the task of enforcing the law. And sometimes that means using that discretion. It's not like just being rigid, but sometimes we have, especially in the age of the internet, we have allowed the perception to be cops need to be our best friends. Almost like, well, my parent should be my friend. No, they shouldn't. They should be your parent.
Right.
They're a parent first, and then, as that relationship is lived out, then you can become friendly with your kids. Later on, now with my older kids, I can hang out with the underpaid producer.
I don't want to hang out with you.
He doesn't ever do it because he hates me because of my slave labor. But I'm his parent first. We had to get to that point to where we could have a relationship that was beyond that. Same thing with law enforcement officers in their community. Their job is to enforce the law. Their job isn't to be your buddy, right? Now, if in that mutual respect, good relationships happen, all the better. We're better for it.
Right.
And we should encourage it, but we have to understand what their role is. And that situation just really highlighted how that poisonous mindset is creeping into places.
Well, you said using wisdom. We were kind of touching on this too. Do you think that the police officer used wisdom when he kind of hung his head and just walked away from that situation? I mean, he was...
No. I think that was the wrong decision. Now, I hesitate because I don't know their policies. I'm not intimately familiar with NYPD policies. I'm not familiar with directives that were given to them in that community, in that precinct. They could have a sergeant or a lieutenant that was saying, like, hey, when this kind of stuff happens, let it be. I don't know. So I'm not criticizing. Take my words are coming out of ignorance. And I say ignorance in the sense of I don't know what I don't know, right? I think that was the wrong decision because in order to combat that mindset, you have to combat that mindset through appropriate action. The appropriate action was to arrest that guy.
Yeah. Because
now that sends a message to everybody around them that the police aren't there to enforce the law.
Well, that scares the hell out of me. I mean, watching that it shuts you down. I mean, literally, we're watching a culture of people, and what I say when I say that, don't get all worried about race. That's not what I'm. When I say a culture of people, I mean we are cultivating a mindset right now in America that cops are bad, that they're out there serving themselves, that they're not doing what they need to be doing, and watching those officers get dumped on by water and listening to people cheer and then get it broadcast out over the airwaves, it just sends a signal about where we're at, I think, as a country. We're in a bad spot. I mean, am I allowed to swear? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is fucked up, to be honest with you. I mean, in the most brutal...
Jeez, I didn't know you were going to say that.
It's like getting hit with water. But no, I mean, honestly, it's completely messed up when you're looking at this and you're going, where are we right now? The very people that we're paying to keep our streets safe, to uphold law, to keep civility, we're dumping water on. It's insane. I mean, we've lost our minds, man. And I think talking about this, it has to happen. We've got to bring this back full circle. This is kind of a hot topic. I got a question for you. As a police officer, when do you think this started, this turn? Because I don't remember, and I'm going to just be honest, prior to Obama, I know that things were systemically moving towards, F the police and all this stuff, but something's changed. I want to know when you think it changed. When do you think that this started? Like the beginning of this? Because, dude, we're here now.
It's 3:08.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of super chats that I need to mention.
Okay, I'll answer the question. We'll hit the super chats, and then we got to cut it off because I got to get to another interview. But, okay, so I think, for me, you're old enough, like I am, to remember Rodney King's situation in L.A. That was, like, I think, a cultural watershed moment. It really, was a heightened moment of the relationship between police and their communities.
Right.
And it had a nationwide impact. Now, time goes by. I think that the Michael Brown shooting with Darren Wilson as the officer, that moment in Ferguson, 2014, was another watershed moment in our time. And since that time, I have personally seen the impact of that. And I believe that from the highest levels from the president to the Justice Department to key leaders in Congress to professional athletes and teams and owners, very influential pieces in our culture bought into a lie, the hands up, don't shoot lie, and filtered it through and capitalized on it politically. And that was a catalyst to open up some of those gates for that negativity to grow and develop. Yeah. That's where I think it comes from. So that's a short answer to a much bigger topic. All right, what questions
Mario
from Super Chat?
Lopez gave $25.
Thank you, Mario.
UPP, here's a tip for a job well done. And then everybody was saying that I better get that money. So I better get that money.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Misty with $5.
Misty, thank you very much.
W. Vla just joined. I've heard that suicide is up among LEOs in our country. Is that true?
Suicide is a huge problem. I don't know. I couldn't.
Know if it's up.
I couldn't verify if it's up right now, but it's usually the verifiable suicides, and trust me, the numbers are very skewed, probably on that to be low. The verifiable suicides more than double the law enforcement line of duty deaths every year. So it's a huge, huge issue.
And then Sean M with $5. Force was justified. It's strange to me that no force was used. Your thoughts? I mean, that was kind of answered.
Yeah, I mean, I think I answered that, Sean, right?
Yes.
That guy should have been arrested. So as soon as that water got on there, should the cop have struck that person or whatever? No, because he wasn't struck. He had water put on him, you know. So it's kind of it's a very awkward situation, but it should have been a verbal command to comply with an arrest immediately.
Not even a chokehold?
Yeah.
Like a sleeper?
Sometimes what we wish we could do and what we can do are different.
Full Nelson?
Full Nelson? Half, I like a half Nelson. It's more embarrassing when you lose to a half Nelson. I don't know. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. Again, I am James, the Thinking Contractor. Go follow his, subscribe, hit the notification bell on his channel.
Check it
Even
out.
though YouTube will do the same thing it does to me and never notify you of anything and demonetize everything we say.